Gotta respect the courage it takes to take Balthazar Gelt on foot against Khorne, but here we are today. Balthazar versus Skarbrand in quite the mismatch of the century. Yeah, this replay from the Emperor on Glacial Lake. Let's quickly talk about the builds. Got some Spearmen with shields up front, some Flagellants to back them up, Free Company Militia, Silver Bullets, going to be very good specifically at shooting a Skarbrand, given their magic bullets. Black Lions, Regiment Renown, War Wagons as well, some more Flagellants, and Gotrek and Felix. Very nice. These guys are still quite strong in multiplayer, as they ever have been. Gotrek in particular matches up great against demons, given his magic attacks and anti-large AP elite status. Yeah, that's it for the Empire, for Khorne. This is so brutally simplistic. It's just so thematic and appropriate for Khorne. I love it so much. Front line of warriors, 2 halberds, 3 shields, Blood Shrine. Up front with Skarbrand, and then a flank of Bloodletters. So it's, you know, Khorne, like, battle plan. Got to think of a battle plan. Okay, flank with Bloodletters, and then charge. Seems legit. And I also actually kind of like the pick of the Blood Shrine. I stopped using these, but they do seem quite decent, given that they can self-heal in melee. Decent attack. Not the best defense, but that Gore Feast does give them healing in melee, and they also give a nice little attack buff. But look at this weapon... the breath attack goes straight through the silver bullets. Skarbrand overextending significantly, yes, but don't click off the video, I swear. This battle goes like 8 minutes and ends up being super, super close. The distraction Skarbrand is what I'm going to call this, because he does run in here and draw a lot of the missiles onto himself. Silver bullets do still switch on over to some shielded Chaos Warriors, but as soon as the Khorne stuff gets into combat, I mean, even shielded warriors, which... and halberds, which, you know, in theory don't have the best attack stats. Khorne kind of flips that on its head. With 48 attack, those warriors with halberds come in with the support of the shrine and easily just massacre those spearmen, no problem. Skarbrand is also just easily getting massacred, though. He does manage to enrage into the war wagons and kills 1 unit model, though, which is also huge. Actually kills 2 unit models. Value-wise, this is still not ideal for Skarbrand. He's a lot more expensive than even the Hellblaster itself. But killing 2 unit models does remove half of the ammunition, right? Because each model that dies takes with it the ammunition that it's carrying. Each model has, you know, however much ammunition it says here. So what would that be? 14 shots left still on both of these 2 models. So you lost 28, you know, individual shots given the 2 models that died there. So that is significant. Not to mention, once the Bloodletters get into combat, they are also going to, like the Warriors, just absolutely massacre everything the Empire has brought here. So it'll be a bloody, brutal good time. Even Exalted Bloodletters, I didn't catch that, are one of the units on this flank. And oh man, they're just literally exploding these Free Company. That's a little bit over the top. But I guess some of that is from friendly fire from the Hellblasters firing in there. They are going to continue to fire. Thankfully, they didn't route off the map. Should be able to come back and contribute, but all of a sudden, Balthazar is at extreme risk. If his infantry support evaporates, he finds himself surrounded by Bloodletters. He's going to get killed alarmingly quickly. Going to see some spells get unleashed, though. A little bit of Searing Doom, a little bit of Plague of Rust, I'm sure has been used, and I just didn't highlight it, but nice volleys on the Blood Shrine here. Blood Shrine does have physical resistance, as it is a demonic unit, but is still able to get into combat here, and just for a disruption perspective, and also to deal anti-infantry damage, it takes up more space than most single-entity chariots, as the Khorne sword drops and just one-shots another unit of handgunners there. Literally just clears the entire unit in one spell. But back to the Blood Shrine. So what do I mean by that when I say it takes up more space than most single-entity chariots? Well, due to the animations, how it kind of spins around in a big wide arc, kind of goes flying across the unit one way and then the other. Those animations take up a lot of space, and they tend to push unit models away. So unlike a lot of other single-entity chariots, which have a hard time occupying an entire unit, the Blood Shrine can get in here and actually just blast the infantry down. And definitely is a tool that I think has been a little bit underrated, was written off because it's not really that great against a lot of the Game 3 factions. So I think prior to Immortal Empires, a lot of people were sleeping on this unit, but it is very good against missile factions. And here, I think the Khorne player is going to make a little bit of a mistake, as Balthazar and Yeah, surrounded by exalted bloodletters. That's going to be bad for Balthazar and, what's his name? Felix, that's right. Gotrek kind of gets isolated there as he kills all the things nearby him. To be expected. But the Khorne player's making a mistake here in not sending the Blood Shrine to go bumper cars with the Black Lions, even though it's kind of an awkward engagement, not one you would think about. The armor piercing of the Blood Shrine and its just overall high attack means that it would be able to, first of all, catch the war wagons, occupy them, and also probably actually kill them, to be honest. And it's going to do that, you know, a bit of foreshadowing. Spoiler alert, it will do that later, but given the time that it takes, it's going to go clean up some of these infantry here. It's going to go help these Khorne infantry clean up. They're having a little bit of a tough time, especially with the halberds. I mean, they would eventually win this, I think. But the Blood Shrine certainly will help, provided that extra melee attack, and also, obviously, its own big splash attacks, man. So cool. I love the sound effects and the animations on this thing, too. Oh, man. Very much an underrated unit, I think. But we'll make that a topic of video on another day. Black Lions do get free and start shooting, and this is what I mean. You're going to end up losing a lot of models as they kind of blob up around Gotrek. Probably want to just try and path like the halberds up and around and not blob up so much. Try and maybe envelop the Black Lions, but it is going to get some pretty effective volleys into this blob here as they try and bypass. Gotrek also just running back, getting the support of some spearmen here and fighting with infantry support. It's definitely the right idea. More volleys from the Black Lions there, just absolutely giving some Khorne models to be expected. And now the Blood Shrine victorious over here is coming to play bumper cars. Again, probably could have done that about 30 seconds, 60 seconds earlier and saved some of the unit models of these Khorne warriors and bloodletters and whatnot. But oh man, that flagellant in particular gets all of his limbs chopped off in efficient order. Oh man, absolute brutality here. And yeah, the Blood Shrine charges through, takes a volley in the face, but immediately gets into combat, has plenty of healing cap space left to gore feast through, so it will be able to sustain in a late game engagement like this. Empire's looking a little bit tricky, but here comes Gotrek. He's gonna Benny Hill chase, so we'll cue the music and fast forward a little bit as the the Blood Shrine chases the war wagons, and then eventually Gotrek gets caught up in the infantry blob again. Yeah. Felix also comes back, which is going to be great. He can provide a little bit of healing to himself and Gotrek once he gets into melee. And they should be able to cut through what's left of the Khorne halberds here. Very smart, though. Blood Shrine continues to pursue there. And, yeah, it's actually... Yeah, the War Wagon's not able to fire in melee, at least the Hellblast Regiment of Renown. Regular War Wagons are very good right now, secretly. If you're struggling with Empire, I would say try adding War Wagons as your primary missile component and see if that helps, just because it's a tanky missile unit that actually does very good armor-piercing damage. It's relatively mobile, not super mobile, but now it's up to Gotrek and Felix, duking it out with the last of the Khorne warriors. Quite an adventure it's been in this battle. Oh, nice double attack there. Actually hits two different unit models, but Blood Shrine's going to drive in and just murder Felix. Gets a couple of good hits on him, and his leadership starts to give out. Of course, Gotrek, being unbreakable, will continue to fight, but yeah. Particularly going to be a rough situation. This replay, I should say, I don't know if I mentioned, is from my patron, the Emperor, but man, look at that, just spinning attack animation, absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, Felix gets routed off, and now the Chariot, good cycle charge, does have a 45 charge bonus, which is definitely enough. When you add it to that 44 melee attack, right, you get 89 total melee attack on the charge, I guess, plus bonus versus infantry of 24, so that's over 100 melee attack. You know, when fighting Gotrek in melee on the charge. So cycle charging him with the Blood Shrine would probably be the best thing to do at this point as he kind of grinds through these Khorne warriors. But the Blood Shrine wants to make sure no other support units come back, so just going to countercharge these halberds since they're unbraced. We'll take some damage from the halberds, definitely. Anti-large AP will provide a little bit, just like it will also probably take some damage against Gotrek. But, oh man, the Black Lions, the one model that's still alive, comes back, gets a few more volleys here, just a handful more, snipes off a handful more models, so it's going to be super, super close, guys. Rune Axe of Gotrek actually gives dampen. I forgot that removes spell resistance, which would have been great if Balthazar was still alive to sling some spells. It would actually remove the innate spell resistance that the Khorne dudes have, right? They have a base 15%. Or, no, I guess it's being dampened currently. So what is it, 35% base? Anyway. Oh, no, it's just being removed completely, so it is 15%. Okay, makes sense. The more I think about it, the more I realize Gotrek's actually quite good in this matchup, and you should probably take him always. Like, Felix is a little bit tricky. I think he just dies to Khorne infantry too bad. I think Gotrek's definitely a good pick, though, as Felix gets sideswiped by the Khorne motorcycle. Oh, man, this Blood Shrine is absolutely amazing. It's just bullying poor Felix. Is he dead? Did he just die? Oh, no, he just got, like, thrown underneath the yeah, that war wagon. That's amazing. Gotrek's also in here somewhere. Hard to distinguish him, given the red hair and the red blood and the red Khorne warriors and everything, but he is technically still in here. Let's see if he can hold out. I mean, he is going to fight to the bitter end. He's going to get to multi-healing procs, so we'll zoom out, as we can't really see him anyway. A lot of these, like, low HP healing procs are a little bit bugged. It's going to just continuously go off, basically. And each time it has a chance of healing him, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to see if it actually does heal him. It might just be completely bugged. He does manage to finish off the Blood Shrine, though. Very impressive for Gotrek. Despite the amount of HP that I had left in the Gore Feast and everything, just finishes it off, and now the green cloud of holy fire, will it be enough? He's down to 167 HP, 132 HP, 1400 HP on these Khorne warriors. Oh man, we've got some halberds countercharging back in too. Gotrek actually falls to the Khorne warriors, and it's left to the state troop halberds against bloody Khorne warriors. I mean, I don't know. I don't think the state troops, their measly 26 attack, 42 defense against the 37-40 attack defense of those Khorne warriors. I mean, doesn't get closer than this, guys. But unfortunately, the Empire state troops just don't have the power to get through the last of those Khorne warriors, and they managed to clutch out the win. So despite blundering Skarbrand early, you know, distraction Skarbrand does allow these other units to all get into combat, and look at the damage values. I mean, Skarbrand obviously gets about half its value back, but the Exalted Bloodletters, 1854 is fantastic. 1780 on the Blood Shrine. I have to say, I'm very impressed with the Blood Shrine, and I definitely am going to be taking this in some more matchups, I think. Especially when you need to maybe disrupt missile units or buff your own units to cut through certain types of chaff even faster, like high defense, quote-unquote, chaff, like spearman-type units. Halberdiers here as well. Speaking of halberdiers, Khorne halberds also trade pretty efficiently, even though they don't have a lot of direct targets to fight. Just for halberds, they have great offensive stats in general, especially with the buffs from the Blood Shrine. Yeah, Khorne warriors also very cost-effective here. Bloodletters, when they get into the right targets, can also be very cost-effective. Balthazar, I mean, I think it was probably a mistake by the Emperor here to take him not on any kind of mount, definitely. Obviously, if he was up in the air, he would have survived until the late game. But Gotrek's definitely quite strong, almost 3,000 damage value on him, just fighting in melee the whole time. Silver Bullet's also a decent pick here if you can protect them. Again, though, I think, I mean, the Regiment Renowned Hellblaster did end up paying for itself, just about. But I think still it's probably better to split this up and take War Wagons instead. Likewise, I would also cut this Handgunner, even though it did pay for itself. Again, I would cut it and take a War Wagon in its place. It wouldn't have been nuked by the Sword of Khorne and could have kept fighting into the late game. Like, basically this entire missile corps. The only thing I would keep is the Silver Bullets. I'd cut these other 3 missile units and take, yeah, War Wagon. Excuse me. War Wagons in their place. I should probably stop casting for today, though. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.